Good evening, we're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and tonight is Trouble in Tharbad on Nightmare difficulty. This is not a very difficult quest. For the setup, we need to raise threat by 5 in the Nightmare version. And then we have 1 copy of the Spy from Mordor. The quest mechanics of this one are pretty interesting. You're trying to reduce your threat down to 0. LOTR raises threat by 1, additional 1 in the refresh phase. Once your threat is 0, then you can move on to phase 2. And you lower your threat by making questing progress. So in spite of the fact that I don't have Steward of Gondor, this is not a bad starting hand because it includes Captain's Wisdom and a good harvest so that I can make use of the resources that I put on Denethor. So, gonna get out 3 chump blockers, and I'll use 2 of them for very good tail, and that grabs 2 more Ethir Swordsmen. So at this point, even though I don't have much experience with this quest on Nightmare difficulty, in fact this is the first time I played it, with a 3 Ethir Swordsman board on turn 1 and what seems to be a willpower focused quest, I'm not too worried about much here. So we get a dark pathway, a 5 threat location, so 7 against to 22 is going to be 15 progress. That will clear out the active location and it'll reduce threat by 11. So I'm going to go ahead and move to dark pathway. Just hope that I don't get a treachery next time. And there's Steward of Gondor, but not much else to play, so yeah, had a pretty good start in the turn 1 though, so not too worried about not having anything to play this round. Just go ahead and quest and hope it's not a treachery. Gonna quest for a lot here. Try to get the threat down as soon as possible, and it is a treachery, so that's gonna surge. Either remove a time counter from the quest or each enemy gets -20. I don't mind each enemy getting -20 because I know that I'm gonna be reducing threat low enough that I'm not gonna have to engage anyone. But unfortunately, that is going to surge into a card that attaches to a non-unique location in the staging area. There isn't any. And then another treachery, which adds 1 threat to the Spy from Mordor. So not really a big deal. Actually, 2 threat to the Spy from Mordor. Not a big deal. Still making significant progress on the quest. Got it down to 7. Relatively clean staging area, just what we started with. Should be able to advance to phase 2 before that doom clock goes off. And there's the Faramir and Knight of the Swan. That'll help out with questing and a little bit of combat. So it's about as good a start as you could ask for. And there is a target for Men of the West, and I may actually choose the Forlong here and not Anfalas Herdsman. I could get punished for that if there's any encounter cards that deal 1 damage to a variety of allies, and there are a number of those in the game. I don't know if there's any in this quest. So this is a little bit more aggressive. Anfalas Herdsman would have been safer. Choose removing 1 time counter from the quest or discarding an ally. And it's going to be a doomed 3. I choose to discard an ally Probably could have removed one time counter from the quest though, because I think I'm going to be moving on to phase 2 right here, so that would have been a better play. That was just flat out bad to discard an ally there. Phase 2 adds Belloc and Crossing at Tharbad to the staging area. And I have to also add an orc. Be discarding cards until I find one. And I need to clear the crossing at Tharbad. And according to the text of phase 2, when you would place progress on the quest, you instead place it on the crossing at Tharbad. It's a little bit of a goofy way to do that. Just means that crossing at Tharbad is going to continue to contribute its threat against you, but that's a little bit of an odd way to do that. Normally the quest would require you to move to the location and then clear it. But anyway, gonna be increasing threat normally now. And a very good tail will bring out another Warrior of Lossarnach and another Knight of the Swan. So pretty good setup now. Orc and creature enemies get minus 30 engagement cost and plus 1 threat. With the willpower I have on the table, that's not going to be an issue. So a quest for 15. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 against, so I make 4 progress. And as for per the nightmare text of Trouble in Tharbad, you cannot make progress on the crossing at Tharbad until Belloc is in play. That's why I quested very lightly there. He's going to reduce the Orc Hunter's engagement cost to 5 and the Spy from Mordor down to 10, so I don't have to engage either of those. Though I certainly could have handled them here, so not. This is a conservative play to just, well, I mean, actually it isn't, because I don't actually have the choice to engage more than one enemy optionally at a time, so I have to leave those in the staging area. I certainly would have engaged them if I was able to, but I'm not, because my threat is too low. But I dispatched Belloc, he gets shuffled back into the deck, and now I can place progress on the crossing at Tharbad. And so I should be able to finish the quest off right here pretty easily. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 18, 23. Gonna go for something like 38, way overkill. So that's gonna attach to a non-unique location in the staging area. There isn't one. And that's gonna raise threat by 1 for each ally. And that will put me over 20, so that card's not gonna surge. So 6 to 38. It's going to clear the active location, clear crossing at Tharbad. And end the game. That was a quick game because the 3 Ethir Swordsmen came out so quickly. This quest does have mechanisms to try to increase your threat rapidly and overwhelm you. But with the setup I had, that wasn't really going to happen. Because the 3 Ethir Swordsmen, in any willpower focused quest, they're going to make quick work of it unless there are severe punishments for playing Minion Swarm, Ally Swarm. So, thanks for watching.